It's Critical Reroll, the show where we talk about Critical Role. I'm Dustin and not Jess, and below me is Kate.
Yes.
Sorry, I thought you were gonna do the. And we have a special guest today.
Yes, we do. There's a very special guest from very
Hey,
far away.
hey, where's my fish? I'm the janitor. It's great to be here.
As you can see, we are down a host tonight, so we had to bring in a special guest. We tried to get Matt Mercer, he was unavailable. We tried Nancy after that, she wanted nothing to do with it. So we got, a friend from very far away.
He's pretty stiff, but we'll see if he has any input into.
Gives a lot of side eye.
Yeah, he does give a lot of side eye. There's a lot of side eye going on over there. Whoever's over there, I don't want to know what's going on over there.
He's gonna keep an eye on the chat for us.
Yes. So if you misbehave in chat, the Zenithar will see you now. So
Good luck.
episode 50 of Critical Role.
Campaign 2.
Campaign 2. They went into the tunnels.
Hey.
I mean, it's really
keep going.
I mean, they did decide to keep going. It was this was interesting because we could talk about later. Matt had tweeted out a couple examples of his notes and things like that, and as they go through this, they were apparently kind of dipping up and down between the barrier of between Wynandir and the Underdark. Like just kind of riding that little borderline.
As you do.
Yeah, like you do. That's which was kind of fun because everyone was like Underdark Adventures, and we're like maybe, but they kind of and so we get some very exciting just walking in a tunnel for a long time, but we do get the wonderful use of boy Liam sure does press that he has keen mind.
Though no one can remember quite how wide the tunnel is. Poor Matt had to say that it was 10 feet wide, probably 5 or 6
Oh yeah,
times.
he said that a lot. He said it's also like a 10-foot wide worm.
It's a big worm.
I want to know more about what they got.
I'm sure we will.
More.
Sure we will. So we do get a little bit more confirmation on these tunnels that they did exist before. That it seems the worm was used as a means of expediting their travels when there weren't tunnels going where they want it to go. And basically use the worm to push through. But there is this massive underground cavern system all under Wynandir. That's pretty cool. I still am leaning on that Crawling King theory.
Oh, I mean,
I'm still leaning on it.
We know that Wynandir was very close. I mean, it's right up against Xhorhas, and we know Xhorhas was the center for the Deceiver gods. So, Also, I just love that. I like to think that also in just D&D worlds, that there's just caverns everywhere. I mean, they're not super common, in places.
But he's been using it a lot more in this campaign.
No, I love these caverns.
As big as the map is on the surface, he is adding layers to it now. And especially if we get those floating cities, that'll be even another one.
We got that comment. I still love him. Right. Maybe they don't exist. They exist. There's one floating out there.
You don't. You don't know. You don't know about any of those. There's one still out there. Yeah. At least.
Wynandir is a karst continent, and you can't tell me otherwise. It's karst topography. Sinkholes, underground rivers, limestone was probably at once an ocean, a seabed. Okay, that's enough of that. This is
I like it. Keep going. Explain more of the geography of Wynandir, please, Dusty. We can do whatever we want. It's just us.
That's right. It's just us. It's Kate and Dusty ruin a podcast. That's what this is.
Welcome to a very special episode.
So we get we get them traveling. We get constant time updates from Caleb.
Dun, dun, dun,
I love
dun.
we get the shade from between Ford and Not. I love that. Oh, maybe we'll just like turn back.
Right off the bat, too. He's like, no, I think we're done. But my husband, we spent 3 months looking for your backstory.
I know. It was so good. And then
Yeah,
the
it was
whole,
amazing.
oh, Jorhaus is just filled with cities of golden balls that you can put in your tummy. I love these guys. I love these idiots.
So much. They are a riot. They crack me up. It's wonderful to see all of that going on.
And we get some nice flavor of like underneath as this worm has like buried, kind of ate its way through. And he kind of hints. I mean, because basically this whole episode was also perception checks.
Lots of them.
Lots of perception checks. We kind of got a hint. We didn't get high enough checks, but we kind of got a hint on how this worm sort of moves its way through rocks. That it has like spikes that sort of inch its way across, and then it obviously ingests. What I'm disappointed in is it's drilling its way through this rock, and we had no poop. I want rock poop, but that's just me.
Maybe that's what some of the crystals were that were lying around.
They did go through a geode. I thought that was super cool. I love the idea of it just burrowing through like a perfect geode.
And Caduce is making the night lights. That was very
pretty. It was they did some camping, and we do know. I mean, we can kind of touch on. I know you've looked at his notes. Mercer did put out some notes this last 2 weeks because we are doing this podcast just before the next Critical Role, so they did have a break this week. So if you want to talk, because that was a really good insight into how he sort of planned out this little cave adventure, and he kind of took some stuff out that they didn't either hit to, and that if they were going to go backwards, if they decided, because he did apparently have that in mind too, if they decided to cut and run.
Yeah, and he condensed some of it from the notes that he's put out, and we'll retweet it too. So he put out kind of a breakdown of what he expected to happen over the next 8 days of their travel. And that was condensed down to about 3 or 4 within gameplay. Because of their very special guest who showed up that no one was really kind of expecting. But yeah, so the notes I think are really, really cool. You get a little bit more in depth than we actually get in the game. Like, we didn't know that Bex and Spurt were brothers. There's all these little hints and stuff. It's really cool to see inside his mind and how he kind of works behind the screen.
And see how he sort of planned the encounters for certain days. Because we do have the first encounter we do get on this is the Ropers. They sort of enter a cavern, which sort of, I guess, kind of also gives them a hint as to where they are sort of in the physical above ground. Because I think it's about this time when they get to that cavern that they're like, how far do we think we've traveled? Like, where do we kind of think we are?
That's on day 2. Day 1 is nothing really happens. It's a lot of just checks and checks and checks and checks. And then the second day is when they get into a spot that it's a little wetter. And like Not was like, well, why is water underground? Why is water underground? And was freaking out. But yes, that is when they encounter my new favorite.
I mean, this is like a classic one too. Like,
and you could see Liam and Taliesin freaking out when this was happening. And then poor Travis is just like, what's going on? What is? Oh, that is a sadistic Japanese traffic cone.
Yeah, and so Ropers, man.
Whoa, AC at 20.
Yeah, I mean,
4 tentacle grabs and a bite. They can pull you in. That could be brutal.
Ropers and 2 Ropers, and like right off the bat, they pretty much grappled almost everybody.
Everyone. Almost everyone. Bo's stunning strikes were key.
Yes.
To break that cycle.
The banishment was also like pretty key, and the slow spell to reduce the AC was key as well.
Yeah, but it was Bo's stunning strikes that actually broke their pattern.
Like, I mean, they're just freaky looking things. I mean, I love them, one, because they look like a stalactite or a stalagmite. Oh, I messed up. I messed up. I was literally reading ceiling in their spider climb ability, and I said the wrong thing. Nope, that's it. I have to literally fly back to Hawaii and hand them my geology degrees. I have to give them up now. I got my speleothem wrong.
What is that word?
We'll edit that. Matt edited that out of the podcast. Speleothem?
Yeah.
That's the general term for all cave formations. They're called speleothems. Yes.
Geology with Dustin.
So ropers, bad. They wrap you up, they pull you in, they give you the bites. And they look like a speleothem. I'm going to cover my bases. But boy, I mean, that was fun to see.
Rough at first. It was scary at the beginning.
I really like whoever gave them those little status rings, though. Those are really cool. If you watch the episode, especially on Alpha, I don't know how much they zoom in on the live stream. I don't think they do, but the Alpha stream zooms in, and there's like, it's really nicely worded for hexed and grappled, and it's super nice. Those are kind of cool.
Condition rings seem like they would be very, very useful instead of just milk tabs.
I know. I wish I knew like who had given them those or who like makes those, because those would be
market them. Those are amazing.
Yeah, those are really good.
Much easier than the ideas I've been coming up with. But anyway.
So we do get that little battle. They do banish one. They kill another. Not takes its tongue for a snack later.
Nom, 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 nom.
And while the other one is banished, they run away and try to find the next entrance to the tunnel, which apparently has collapsed a bit. They have to kind of dig around as this thing slowly moves towards them.
Well, it comes back from the banishment.
And then it just
has worn off.
They only move 10 feet. It's just super slow. And so that was a fun little image of the things just like coming after them.
How do you want to do this, Mighty Nine? With vague interest.
Yes. They're just like, okay, yeah, you're done, boy.
We're just gonna keep shooting things at it. It's fine. We're gonna stay over here and shoot it. Not pulls out the firearm again.
Oh yes, actually, like, I don't remember if she shot it before or not.
Matt said she didn't, but I'm pretty sure she did one other time. But or like Nat 1, did it just jammed or something? Like, I know she has tried to use it before, but I don't think I don't remember if she actually has. She is determined though. Oh man, Sam and that gun.
Well,
through both campaigns. Though Matt did mention that it really it's only been 10 years since guns have gone a little bit more mainstream.
Mm-hmm. And we know that
a little bit more available.
Hupperdook is kind of like the place where they're producing, mass producing explosive-y thingies.
And that it was Ripley's travels that kind of helped spread it. Oh, Ripley!
So yeah, it's more tunnels after that. We get the really long...
more tunnels.
Yeah.
And then more tunnels.
We get that lovely, like, maddening image. I wish someone would just draw that. Like, I had to, when I was rewatching it, I had that really just image of them all having been in the tunnels. They've gone through maybe 2 rounds of 99 bottles.
I hate that song.
Caleb every hour saying it's... I just want a nice, like, look down the hallway of all of them just going, like, mad. Bing bong, it's 2 o'clock. Shut up! Because like that long in a 10-foot tube for like long periods of time.
Oh my god!
Like, I used to climb. I used to play in sewers when I was a kid. We used to crawl into storm drains and go all throughout the city. Yeah, we did some things.
I was just gonna say I was in a salt mine in Poland once, and that was bad enough.
Yeah, California,
I did not play in sewers.
Well, most of California has bigger storm drains for like when it does, because they can't, like, water doesn't, and so like they're bigger and you can just crawl through them because most of the time in the summertime there's no water in them. So.
There was a certain movie about clowns living in sewers that messed me up when I was a kid. So no way in hell am I going anywhere near those.
From there.
No, nope.
So then they get to another area out of the tunnels, and they come across what looks like a tunnel that has gone through other little tiny tunnels.
Yeah, so they kind of determined that it was the worm cutting through, and it bisected the previously existing tunnel, which I think is a pretty cool flavor aspect that Matt added. Like it's this ant farm almost idea with and the tunnels aren't going just straight, and I do like that a lot. So they kind of have a choice to keep going forward and following the worm path, or go up or go further down.
Oh, and you know what I forgot about is that we have the Google form.
Yes, we do.
You guys,
Xanathar, you're supposed to remind us.
Xanathar, you're useless. Where's my fish? Where's my fish? I literally forgot what voice I had originally. Okay, whatever. Where's my fish, dudes? Oh, now he's okay. Hey, man. I'm the Xanathar, man. Just relax, man.
Turn into the sun tree.
We have a Google form, Kate, and that people can go there. You can go to rebrand.ly/critical reroll. Or look for us on Twitter.
What can you do with that Google form,
you
Dustin?
can fill in questions that we talk about on this show.
What?
Yeah, you can put spoilers so you don't have to worry about spoiling your friends by tweeting at us. You can put all sorts of random things in here. You can ask me to read a poem, which is one of the questions for this week. But let's.
You're ruining the surprise.
Well, I wasn't gonna do it, but now I have to.
Now you are.
So there's a couple questions that I wanted to drop back to. Sorry, guys, this has no order whatsoever in today's podcast. But you know what? We're Kate and Dusty, and we do what we want. So the first question that we did get in this form is from Critter Jim. So thank you, Critter Jim. You can put your names in this, guys, or you cannot put your names in it. We value anonymity here. Especially if you have some crazy theories and you don't want anyone noting that that's what you're into. Maybe
unless you're me and I just say everything that comes to mind.
Also me. So Critter Jim asked, do you think the Mighty Nine will return the dodecahedron to try and stop the war, or at least use it as a bargaining chip to get Yeza back? I don't know how much it will stop the war, because I feel like there's more than one of these.
Yes.
And I think the war has many other sources of causation than just the Empire having some of these.
I think if not a bargaining tool, it is definitely not a bargaining toy for Yeza, I should say. It's definitely something that would get them immediate interest from the Kreen. If that interest leads to immediate jail, that's still to be determined. Like, hey, we're from the Empire. We bought you this orb back. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work.
Yeah. They don't really have a plan about what they do once they get there.
No. But I do think they may return the orb to the Kreen. Just flat out. Even if
I mean, that could win them
keeping Yeza out of it. What we know of the Kreen Empire is just straight up propaganda from the Wildmount Empire, from the Dwendalian Empire. That all we know is their version of what's going on.
Yes.
Which for me, I love that aspect of this. I think that is such a really cool flavor that Matt has added to this, that there is this propaganda machine, that there is this whisper campaign, that there is this strong influence by the government leaders, and that you don't know the truth, you only know what they want you to know.
Yeah, well, and then like they even like regulate your gods and stuff like that. Yeah, it's
and you're reading and your book, like taking away the books and certain, like you can't get this book here. You this is a secret romance novel. You can't have that. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really bad.
Yeah, I love that sort of stuff too, because it's very, not all governments are there for your benefit and to make you like help their people. Their power plays, man.
Yes, there's a far more dystopian flavor to this, and
but
we bit of a darker.
We do know that Xhorhas isn't a fun place to eke out a living.
Exactly, it's you're not headed to paradise here. We know that.
I like that little comment we get from Yasha where, like, is it a nice place? And then Yasha's like, well, after visiting Nicodranus, like, no, it's not a nice place. There are many nicer places in the world.
Which, again, I'm sure. And I'm sure there are bad places. I'm sure Gordranus is not a place you want to vacation.
Oh, no.
Not at all.
No, yes.
But I so want to see what Matt pulls out, specifically related to the Drow and his canon. Because we only met like 1 or 2 last campaign.
Yeah,
I know we met the assassin that we created.
That stole Tyrion.
I
don't remember. I think there was
there might have been like 1 or 2 other little like background ones. But we know Matt likes to subvert the expected.
Yeah, I mean that's just fun. Subverting.
I know.
Subversion is fun in general.
Give me his Drow lore. I cannot wait.
Yeah,
give me the green. And the cool thing is he is focusing so much on the Drow. We know there are other beastly creatures that exist there in beastly races.
Yeah, Minotaurs.
The bugbears are, and the Minotaurs, and we know that at least once Molly was referred to as having Jorhassian blood. Back when they were in Zadash, maybe? No, Hupperduke. One of the two. I think it was Hupperduke with the tour guide guy.
Yeah, I think there's a couple comments
somewhere. Yeah, a couple people have referred to tieflings as having Jorhassian blood. So Jorhas, demons, tiefling. I get it. So please, oh my god, give me all of these so-called evil races and let me see what is behind this curtain. Please let me see what's going to go on with this. I cannot wait to see Matt's take on what are these traditionally evil monster races, and are we getting Wicket? Like, what is happening? Like, here's this whole other. I cannot wait.
We will find out. But yeah,
unless they decide to turn back after all of this,
they'll toy with my heart. But they do anyway. So yeah, I think. I mean, they did contact Yeza once, and they contact the mage tower guy. They
contacted Yusa once and Yeza twice.
I just like here it is with these names, and I get they're similar.
Vex and Vex all over again.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, we're going and we're taking this, and he's like, okay, sure, yeah, take a thing into danger that's magical like that, and then
that's a great idea.
Yeza managed. We did get a little hint that once Yeza couldn't talk, but still in like dangery kind of stuff.
But he is in the city. The first time they contacted you, the first one was to Yusa, and Yusa was like, "Oh, okay, good job taking that thing into the heart of evil. Good job. Okay, have fun. Don't die." Second time Astro used the spell was to Yeza, and Yeza did confirm that he's no longer moving. He is in the city. And then the third time he couldn't talk, which is a little scary. Or Matt just didn't feel like giving up any more information.
I mean, yeah.
Which is totally possible. Matt was not expecting any more messages to go out. He's just like, yeah, no, he can't talk right now. Mom says he's not allowed to use the phone.
So back to so now that we have the form up, I can address these questions. So this next one kind of comes into what we find out these tunnels are. And so the break happens. Well, before the break, Caleb uses Frumpkin to kind of go down one of these tunnels and see what it was. And I wasn't expecting this because I was trying to remember, well, what tunnels would they be coming across? Like, so for a while they thought it was like a mining operation, and that's what they're kind of looking for. And then when Matt started describing what Frumpkin was seeing, in like piles of trash and belts and things like that, I was like, oh wait, this might be. And then when he does see 2 dragon-looking creatures, but super tiny, and I was like, yes! These are my favorite. Like, I played Kobold PC for a campaign. I love kobolds. They do see Frumpkin, and they do all run out en masse. And then
they don't run out. The 2 run out.
The 2 run out.
And then Ford tries to grab the spear. Fails.
Yes.
The other one scampers
right.
away, and
They
all hell
bark.
breaks
Yeah.
loose.
That's right. And then,
leading us to the Tucker's kobolds.
yeah, so one of our questions is something that me as a noob to D&D did not know existed. The question was anyone else considering a Tucker's kobold type scenario when they encountered the burrows? I was not, because I didn't know that this existed. But Kate and I have edified ourselves. Is that the correct way to use that word?
Sure, it is now. We can make up the rules.
That's right. It's our show.
It's just us.
Yeah. So we have read about Tucker's kobolds, and now this was an article or an editorial piece in Dragon Magazine 127. And I'm going to link this for people who are live with us into the chat.
And we'll toss it up in Twitter as well in a little bit.
And so this is sort of like a guy's accounting of a game he played in where the DM ran kobolds in a very evil way. Smart and evil. And it's just a good way to take monsters who... Balancing in D&D is hard, and taking some small, easily killable monsters, but then making them super smart and clever and just harass your players and really put them in situations where it's hard to kill them, but they can do, like, they just bleed you as you go through places. It's a really good read. I definitely either, like, Google Tucker's Kobolds or check out our links. I was not. I have to be honest, because I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't expect that, and it would be scarier to have happened.
I didn't know it was a thing either, because I am a noob to D&D, having only been played like 2.5 years at this point. But yeah, I was like, okay, that's kobolds. I know from my kobolds aren't a high level monster. And I'd even said to a friend, oh, they encountered kobolds, and they're like, what are they doing encountering kobolds at level 8? And I said, well, no, there was 1 billion of them. Maybe, I was exaggerating. But there was a lot of them.
A little less than 1 billion. But also, like, small monsters en masse is a thing that could be...
Pack tactics is nasty.
But also, like, this is a wild... the world is wild and dynamic. You're not just going to meet creatures that are your level.
Right.
Like, it's hard, like, to get out of that. Like, I mean, they could run across anything.
And it's definitely, in my own personal opinion, I think it's much more fun to actually do the communication like they did.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, no, we're going to talk to them. We're going to talk our way out of this, and not fight. We're going to rely on the talking.
I'm all for crazy kobold diplomatics.
Oh my god, the roleplay was hysterical from everyone in that scene.
Did you get like an Ewok Star Wars vibe? Because I totally got like the Ewok Star Wars vibe.
I got an Ewok. There's also a game, I played Guild Wars 2, and they reminded me of these little mice creatures called the Skrit.
Okay, I didn't play Guild
Who are very, very shiny, really like, what's this? And so that was kind of going through my head. But yeah, I love them.
I know, I'm glad they didn't like straight out just murder this whole warren of kobolds.
And all they wanted was food.
Yeah, they were like,
they wanted was food.
Very hungry, and they gave them lots of food.
They did. They gave them alligator skins.
I liked how they called them loud food. Thank you, John Alexander.
That was so funny.
I loved loud food. Like, perfect. I loved that.
So funny.
I love Caleb being caught in the trap. Loud food, step forward. Whoop. Caleb hanging upside down. Diplomaticking is also a word I just made.
Which Matt did in his fun little notes point out that if anyone who walked into that spot first was going to be the one who got picked up, with the exception of Caduceus, because his passive perception's too high and he would have seen it.
I'd like to think the fact that Caduceus saw it the entire time.
Oh my god, that would be hysterical. He's just like, nope, not gonna tell him.
Just like, oh, that's interesting. I love kobolds so much.
Look at that fancy little rope lying there. That's adorable.
There were some other hints in the kobold interactions that we didn't actually get to see take place. They did do some bargaining. They gave someone food. They
Lots of
gave some
food.
crocodile skins, which I
They
love
had
the
a
fact
faking.
they got they got poor Frumpkin. Oh, uh, I also love
He
that.
could get eaten.
I also love that they ate everything because that's one of my favorite things in Volos when it starts talking about the kobolds that they literally just really aren't picky about what they eat. And I went crazy with that with my kobold. And I just love how everything was just food for them. Not actually like they don't really take useful things. It's just everything is edible, and then if it's not edible, maybe we make something out of it. And there was a weird half-furred animal in a
Thing.
cage that they really wanted to, or Jester
A
really wanted to
squirrel
save.
dog. A little squirrel dog.
I don't know what that was. I was having like Fizzgig vibes from the Dark Crystal. The Dark Crystal.
I was having like the evil Charmin bear.
I had like I had mixes between Fizzgig and what's the sloth from Ice Age? I don't remember his Sid. Is that his name? No,
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't remember the name, but I know.
Oh no, not Sid. The little animal that's always going after the acorns. That
the
thing.
Little squirrel.
Yeah. Not Sid. The acorn guy. Sort of something like that, just with like missing patches of fur, and then just running off once they released it.
I was definitely picturing like these ugly snuggle bear. There was a picture I've seen that was just absolutely terrifying, and that's what was in my head the whole time. Like, no, you don't want that. You don't want that thing. And of course, they're like, yes, we do. Let's save it, and it just takes off.
Really, his name was Scrat. Thank you, Cryptic Vulpix. So they move on from the kobolds. But there's a couple kobolds that are sort of following behind them.
Yes, which we find out because they gave over Frumpkin, aka the faking cat, kitty spirit, to the leader of the kobolds in exchange for more people to get passage. And Caduceus recognizes that, oh, they're talking back there. I hear something, but he doesn't know Draconic, so he couldn't hear exactly what they're saying. So Caleb bamfs into Frumpkin to hear, oh yeah, and to see what's going on, and sees two of these funny little guys following. One who has a spear and one who is the collector who has all kinds of weird cages and bottles and just junk hanging off of him. And turns out they start following them, escorting them out, staying back 60 feet, thinking they're being quiet, but they're not at all. Which is beautiful.
And so the group decides to not goes invisible.
Well, they decide as they walk about another hour,
yeah.
And they decide to quote unquote bed down so that they could capture these guys.
The dramatic bedding down.
The dramatic bedding down. So Jester and Bo go on and start screaming at each other in huge dramatic fashion, pretending to fall asleep, and then yes, like you said, Not goes invisible, starts sneaking around behind, and grabs the one spear, throws it across the room, and the guy was just like, whack, whack, whack. And I was like, okay, that was weird, and just goes to find it, and as he does, he not grapples the collector kind of guy, and it is at that point that it is revealed dun, 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 a new special guest.
I mean, people knew that Perkins was there because he was tweeting.
Yes.
But I guess during the break, Matt had just handed him the stat sheet for the kobold and said, "Hey, you wanted."
So I think he said on talks that like he kind of had the idea in the car on the way there. They knew Perkins was going to be in the studio, but he had already told everybody he's not playing. He's not playing. He's just coming for a visit. He just stopped in. And so kind of on his way there, Matt was like, I'd like to let him drive this character for a little while and see what happens. So we do. We get Chris Perkins as the first return guest between season 1 and season 2.
Oh yeah, that's okay. That's
right.
Yeah.
First one playing in both campaigns, who was as a guest.
Yes.
Not one of the main characters.
No, that is true. We haven't had anyone from the original guesting come into the new campaign.
Yeah. Very different from Shale. Didn't last anywhere near as long.
It breaks the streak of guests getting how do you want to do this is for sure.
Yes. I think it's the exact opposite.
Just being able to see Perkins play Kobold was divine.
Oh my god, the voice, the characteristic, the physicality that he was doing. He was hunched over. He was like all squishy, and I was like, Mommy! Oh my god, and the fact that the cast was laughing as hard as they were the entire time was delightful.
Like describing his Kobold having, the stick with the scorpion, the bag of hornets, the strange oozy thing, the skunk on his back.
The green ooze.
Who he lost his dad to.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing what people can come up with and how creative they are.
Oh, I love...
and I'm kind of curious. I want to do a little bit more research into this and see what they've said on talks and on Twitter and stuff about how much Matt gave him and how much he decided to do on his own.
Well, I think the most of everything he read description wise was from the thing,
right.
But how much he improved off of.
Yeah,
I think I'm pretty sure Matt just kind of let him do his thing.
I'm sure he did.
Matt probably just had his stat block and a name, and then it was just fighting with Knot and the scorpion. Rolled a nat 20, his first roll.
The centipede catapult was hysterical.
Oh, gosh.
For Travis. He's another one who just, when he gets into it and uses his body to roleplay, it's absolutely hysterical. The way he was shaking his shirt, pretending that the things were on him,
I don't like to
golden.
Think about this.
I know, it's gross.
Centipedes.
It's so gross.
We had those in Hawaii.
Pepe the skunk and Stingy the scorpion and poor Pepe.
Oh.
Don't beat your skunks, friends. Please. Don't beat your skunks.
Yeah.
Be kind to animals.
Be kind to animals. Also don't eat them. I'm sure that kobolds have eaten them too.
Oh, I'm sure they said they have their own little self-sufficient ecosystem going on. It was kind of gross what was going on in that cage. Anyway.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he did that too. He
ate the skunk poop, guys.
I put that in my poem.
We do find out that his name is Spurt. The other kobold is Bex, and they are brothers according to Matt's notes. That wasn't revealed in the show. We did find out that Spurt had another brother who was killed by a green ooze. The green ooze is now currently at that time in the little jar that Spurt had. How many days have you been down here? 11! How old are you? 11! Oh boy.
It's just it was just so good just having him there. So then we get to the last little bit of the episode that takes up most of it, and
so yeah, they ask Spurt, hey, we can give you a better life. You want to join us? You want to be part of the Mighty Nine? We will give you all the food if you come with us and be our guide. And Spurt's like, hell yeah, I'm in. Sure. And they're like, great. Have you ever been farther than here? Nope. What's your perception? 0.
Yeah.
What do you... Okay, great. Spurt is the leader. Spurt has become the leader in this adventure.
It's like they adopt him? Because what could go wrong with adopting things? Especially when it's a special guest.
Yeah.
And you know that kobolds don't live very long anyway.
And it's the chaotic force that is Chris Perkins.
Yeah.
It's not like it was just like, oh yeah, so-and-so from this show is on tonight. Hey guys, like this was a spur of the moment. Let's just have Chris Perkins have some fun.
So they kind of head their way through and they come out to this opening that has a river of lava, a giant black fortress, and 2 fire giants that apparently it seems. Oh, yes.
Yeah, but Spurt is the only one who sees it at first
That's
because
true.
they get to the end. They're at this tunnel and they see a light at the end of the tunnel. And as Bo promised, they would lead Spurt to the light. Make him go to the light. So Spurt sees the light and takes off and wanders into this giant cavern with fire giants.
Which apparently it's the fire giant fortress or some sort of giant underground.
There was
I
a
imagine,
citadel or something.
yeah, and I imagine this part is the Underdark. I mean, we've had Underdark before, and we know lava is a prevalent thing, and giant black fortresses are pretty prevalent in the Underdark.
I don't know if this is the Underdark or if this is like the entrance to the Underdark.
It could have been like it's hard
because
to...
this is where their territory starts or ends, and that's why the sentries were there. I almost said sentinels. Why the sentries were there? And as Jester suggested, like because this giant worm and the Kreen came through, if they pass this close to this entry point, maybe that's definitely a big warning sign, and certainly why someone would put a guard out there.
Yeah, they probably were like, what was this? Okay, well, we better watch to make sure that... So you could imagine that maybe that them coming back through... Well, no, I don't know if this is the exact way they came.
Yeah.
Because they could have used a different tunnel to get there. Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought about that. I'm like, oh, this could not be the same tunnel. This could be them going through a new tunnel. So anyway, fire giants.
Fire giants!
They now have to get across a river of lava, 1 fire giant, and what Travis didn't notice was a fire giant holding 2 giant spiky shields. It's like the worst gladiators. If anyone
Gotta
remembers.
Love them dreadnoughts. Gotta love them dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
American Gladiators was the show as a kid that I would watch.
I loved American Gladiators. Yeah. That was my favorite. Just gonna toss that out there.
Yeah, it was good. So then they have to get across this. Everyone has to live because...
But again, they don't see it. They don't see it because Spurt ran out first.
No, and...
They don't know what's going on because lovely little Spurt took off. Guys, friends, loves, darlings.
And fire giants are tough.
Well, the fire giants did not see Spurt.
No.
Surprisingly enough.
Which was...
Spurt could have gotten away with this. Spurt could have done something. Spurt could have backtracked. Spurt could have...
Spurt lived like he was named. So Spurt throws some hornets at the fire giant. Gets the fire giant's attention. I mean, I'm pretty sure Chris knew what a damage a fire giant does.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure
and
Chris
saw
knew
his
exactly what he was doing.
His hit points as a NPC, just a regular kobold.
He had 12 hit points.
Yeah, and so Spurt went splat. And I just love the reaction of everyone just being like...
we kill Chris Perkins! We kill Chris Perkins!
And then you're like, Chris just gets up and walks away.
Yep. So Spurt had 12 hit points and he got hit for 28 damage. Sorry about you. You're insta-dead.
Blended. Will it blend? A kobold will blend.
It was a splatted splurt.
Oh man, it was just so hilarious.
Golden.
Sad, but perfect. Just a wonderful... Oh. It was so good.
So funny. Honestly, it was I think they said he was on for like 22 minutes total.
Very long. It was
great. It was the shortest guest star. He beat out Mary and Will's appearance in the finales.
Nice. Oh, nice.
I think they went 27 minutes.
That's great.
I think they said... I have to relook, but I think it's what Crit Role said. So yeah, they didn't last very long. It was so funny though. It was definitely... I have been showing that as a clip to a couple friends to to let them enjoy the hilarity of the moment and what D&D can be.
Yeah.
That it's not all about the wargaming aspect, and you can certainly play it that way. I'm not bashing anyone who wants to do that, but with this group, their highlight is definitely the storytelling and the improv power that's behind them. So,
I will say that those fire giant minis are flippin' sexy.
gorgeous,
Flippin'
gorgeous.
sexy, and that dreadnought, as Herc just said in the
Oh,
chat, like that's his favorite.
oh
He has
yeah.
a few of them, and they were good looking. They were good looking. So the rest of this podcast, we will just talk about how they planned, and mostly pretty successfully, to get past 2 fire giants, which they definitely could not have fought. I mean, a dreadnought is like almost 200 hit points and 21 AC. Like, there's no way, and to have like 2 of those big things.
Yeah, no, that would have been nasty.
So we get a pretty good use of all the spells. I mean, first of all, Bo doesn't have to worry about a thing. She's a monk.
Fast as the wind.
She got over there with they did a good job using polymorph.
Yes.
They did ask questions of the DM to make sure that which creatures counted for like blinking spells or not, but like because they do have their pets.
Yep.
Let me double check to make sure that there are no questions that dealt with this, because I think there may have been one. No. Oh wait, there is one question. So this no name, but do you think the Mighty Nine could have disguised themselves as Kreen with a few prisoners and intimidated their way past the giants? No, because I think they were like there because the Kreen came through.
Exactly.
I think any sort of like talking to these fire giants would have led with the same thing and I think that's what was good about Spurt going out there, is that it's just sort of like, oh right, these things really bad. Like Spurt's sacrifice was really good in keeping them all being like, nope.
Don't want to fight that. Spurt bought the nope.
So
definitely bought the nope. Put the fear of God into the Mighty Nine. The God being Matt Mercer.
Yes. Put the fear of Mercer into them. I
mean, the thing's maul was as big as Yasha. Let's be for real here.
Yeah, I mean, just having those minis was just like, okay, I'm gonna be careful with these guys. These guys don't look like they're playing around. They mean business. They're hot.
Business.
Fire giant joke.
They did figure out how to get across. We got Caduceus got polymorphed into a dragonfly, and Jester dimension doored with Caleb. So they really did a good job of teaming up with all of that aspect, and not could go invisible. And Ford had that thunderous step.
Which unfortunately
then damaged the cow.
Well, I do like that Matt played the things like he's a cow, but he's still the fire giant. Like he's gonna come and attack you, which really like canceled. Like I mean, that put a little bit of worry in the plan, because I think it was not that was left was the last one to come across when the thunderstep triggered and broke out the cow. I like that Herc commented that they should have talked, because hiding in the bubble was a great idea, and I don't know how that would, like, they would have just like waited outside the bubble, like if they had hid, because I think one of their ideas was to just hide in the bubble until they like went to bed or something like that.
But there could have been like sentry changing of the guard kind
also
of
just
thing.
Like they could have just got more, and then it would be all of them standing around. I mean, it would have been interesting to see if they could have diplomacied their way through talking to fire giants.
How superstitious are fire giants? Could they have like done something of that aspect? Like, we are the ghosts who are now haunting this area.
The dreadnought has an int of 8.
Yeah. So they could have done a little bit more trickery too. I think that would have been fun. We are the spirits of lava.
They also have like a strength of 27. That's a plus 8 modifier.
That's smashing. That's a mash. Mash.
Boy. That's just all the stuff that they could do. I would have been very against the bubble. Just, I don't know. I was afraid that just makes them a target, and then I don't know. It'd be interesting to have this conversation further. Tweet at us, and we can have this conversation about
That
how.
even...
Oh, that's true. They could. Herc
Yeah.
did say that Matt had clued them in that they were here guarding the tunnels because they were pissed about what went through. They could have gotten on their good side and talked about approaching the ones who did it for them. Yeah, they could have been like, "Hey, we're tracking these Kryn. Where did they go?" I do think that Spurt coming out there though kind of put them on more of a defensive mind than a talking mind. Just because they saw this thing get splatted, and then they definitely went into that player mind of
right. But kobolds are something that exists down there, and I would think, as seen by the fire giants, might just be a natural
like
annoyance.
A bug. Yeah, just like
sort of the way we see bugs or rodents or things like that. Oh god, it's another one. Get rid of it. So I don't know if Spurt necessarily would have been that big of a detriment.
Well, I think no, it was more to the players themselves. Like,
right,
that thing happened. I don't think it would have been a detriment, but I just think that having him getting killed right in the bat.
Definitely messed with them, players.
Yeah, it put them all on the mind of like, oh, okay, maybe we like. I don't think the talking to them sort of, because they didn't really talk. They went all straight to like hiding and stuff like that, and I think. Everyone at the table sort of went into a like, okay, we just have to get out of here without being noticed, sort of thing. And it's sort of like, as a player, something happens, the DM might not have other ways for you to get through a thing, but you get tunnel vision because of situations, or you read a situation in a different way, and you're like, don't even think of that as an option anymore because you're so worried about becoming the poor little stain on the rocks like Spurt was.
Poor Spurt.
I don't know if Control Lava FMA says Control Lava spell exists. It should.
I want to be a lava bender.
I want to be a lava bender. That would be so awesome. I would love to control lava. Awesome. It would make my degree so much easier.
So this is now the second time that we have been under the earth, and the rogue has stepped in lava.
Yes, rogues and lava. It's a magnetic attraction between rogues and lava. That was a night. So the cow got sprung. The giant was back. Not had to. They definitely knew she was there. The bridge was smashed. She was invisible. She used water walking on lava, which Matt would let her do, which I thought was interesting. I loved that. I loved the like. He goes, I'll let you do it. I'm like, oh, water walking on lava. I mean, but you are going to take some like heat damage because lava is 2,000 degrees Celsius. That's a lot.
Is it, Dustin?
It is. It is a lot. It is hot. I have been near it. 3 feet away from active flowing lava saps your strength like you wouldn't believe. It just makes you sick to your stomach. It's so hot. I can't describe to you. Just being near lava is a thing that just like drains you. It is hot flames. It's also fun.
Flames on the side of my face.
But it's like just being near it. You just can't take it. Like you can't imagine heat that just like saps your will to live. That's what it does. Like it's just like, oh god, I gotta step away. Yeah. Anyway, didn't mean to go on a tangent on lava. We have 6 minutes. Yes, it was a fun like callback to Vax. I almost said Vex. Vax getting his toe burnt off, but luckily did not lose any sort of appendages in a lava accident.
No phalanges were harmed in the filming of this episode. Did we get any more questions that we need to?
We do have some questions that aren't really pertaining to the game. They all made it to the tunnels. They all got across.
Surprise! They got past.
I mean,
and ran away. And that was the end.
When the blink dog had to go across, I was so scared. I know it's pets and they shouldn't have pets, but that little blink dog, I was cheering for the entire time.
I love my nugget.
Oh, little nugget. I was just like, oh, please leave the nugget alone. My little nug.
Don't touch my nugs.
Okay, so we have a couple more questions. They did make it, so now I'm excited to see where they go this week. How much more they have left of this tunnels. I feel like they have a lot more.
I feel like they do too. They're only like halfway, if.
Also, Mercer's notes had one day where a trapper's just laying over the dome, and I love that. I hope that, I mean, it's kind of been outed, so I don't know if they're going to do it, but I love the fact, because that dome is like, it's opaque, and you can make it whatever color you want, but like it's not invisible. It doesn't make you all invisible. I love the idea of them waking up and then having to deal with, oh, there's a monster just like on top of us. If we drop this thing, it's gonna come down on us. You know, Caleb has to stay in there. If he leaves the like, it's just super, super fun. I hope some more shenanigans happen that way.
Maybe it happens on the way back.
That would be fun. I feel like give them time to forget that exists. I mean, us as fans will never forget that could exist, but I love trolling players when they think they're safe. Because the world is dangerous and they're skirting up and down in Underdark adjacent territory.
And we forget. They're going. They have to get back.
Yeah.
They still gotta get back.
Yeah. So one of our questions is, how much would you pay for a Mercery? Which I forgot that was the thing at the beginning of the episode. So this question, I had to Google that because I'm like, I completely forgot about it. I'm like, what the heck's a Mercery? I'm like, did I miss something? Is it like
5 gold and a party?
I mean, 5 gold and a party. That seems like a decent chat. Would you pay? How much would you pay for a Mercery? I tweeted this today. I hope we get an episode where all the ladies come in with beards on. Because I just read this on this rewatch. Everyone has a beard now. All the men have beards. I just want the ladies to come in with spirit gum beards.
I like it.
It does. I like it a lot. Go JG in chat. It does have to come with all his NPC voices.
I will say one of my favorite parts of this episode, and we didn't touch on it, was Bo reading the book out loud.
The audiobook alpha version.
Their podcast as they were walking along.
I like.
And is it Ford's awkwardness or is it Travis's awkwardness?
I think it's a little bit of Travis's.
Who knows?
Also, like that Not said, I'd like to hide the shape of my nipples.
I'm nips.
And he used the word shape. So now I'm just like, he has some sort of weird canon for what goblin nipples are shaped like.
That's all. That's an After Dark
because
episode.
Yeah.
Critical Reroll After Dark. We could talk about the shape of goblins.
And I think the other question that we had was, oh my god, that poem, Dusty, any chance of a recital by the bard themselves? I don't know if that means me.
Can you do it as the Swedish Chef?
I mean, I could do it as the Swedish Chef. Could I do it as my own bard? That's the question. Like, what do you...
How about you just do it as you? Do it as you.
I'm going to do it as me. The problem is I have to find it.
If people want to request...
Enough people are still constantly retweeting it that it still shows up in my notifications.
That's what I'm saying. So if people want to request this poem read in other voices... We're going to end this podcast. We can maybe have Dustin record them for you.
Yes. Or I can just tweet them out after the episode. But I'm going to read it as my voice. We'll see, people are already saying do it as a thing. Jess is like, as a kobold. Okay, here we go. This is how we're going to end the podcast. My poem that I wrote to Chris Perkins. Here lay the chunks of a kobold named Spurt. He beat his skunks so they would squirt. He feared no foes and snacked on scat, but against the giant's blows, he soon went splat. Here lay the chunks of a kobold named Spurt. Here he beat his skunks and she wouldn't squirt. He feared no foes and she snacked on scat. Num num. But against the giant blows, he did went split.
Yay!
You're welcome.
Join in next week for another edition of Dusty's Poetry Corner.
Oh no, that's not going to be a thing now.
Yes, it is. Now it's a thing. You get the Fordcast and Dusty poems.
So yeah, they continue on in the tunnels next week, or I guess this Thursday.
Yeah. This week.
I'm excited to see what happens.
I'm so scared for them to go to Jorhas.
I don't want them to go to Jorhas.
They're not ready.
Hopefully Yrsa gets some time that he could talk, so that they could get more. Like, they need some more recon details on what's going on.
Yeza needs to give them more information or something.
Maybe they can talk to him in the middle of the night where they think he's asleep, when he's got more time to talk. Because they can't go into this blind. But also, I don't know when they're going to come up. This tunnel could go to a worm parking lot. Do they have a worm parking garage?
Oh my god, they're going to a worm hatchery.
Oh god. A 10-foot worm hatchery. What if these are just babies that they ride? What if there's mommy worms? What if this is Dune? Oh, what if oh man.
There's so much that can go wrong.
What if Jorhas is just like Dune with giant sandworms? Yes. Yeah. Spice is life, guys.
But I feel like it's in the video games when you're playing an MMORPG or anything like that, and you're like, I should not be in this zone yet.
Yeah, nope, I should not be here. This is too powerful.
I need to go grind a little bit more, get some better weapons and armor, and maybe go kill some Nordic boys, and then we can go back to this.
They can't escape the Nordic boys.
You can't escape the Nordic boys.
Okay, well,
playing with our 3 friends.
And on that note, I'm gonna say a Nort goodbye.
Hey, we are Critical Reroll. Join us most every Sunday night, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Specific time.
We do this live on Twitch. You can also follow us on Twitter at Critical Reroll. Find the podcast anywhere you find podcasts. Come out, join us.
And to people who are listening to us, we are aware of the Stitcher issue. We are figuring out the whole Stitcher thing.
Yes.
So Stitcher only doesn't have our most recent episodes. So we are working on that for anyone that is listening. But thank you. I've been Dusty at GeoNerd on Twitter. Kate?
I am Kate at SeaMonster on Twitter. We love your faces.
Goodbye, my friends.
Thank you for listening to us. Be safe. Watch out for kobolds.
Kobold. Skunk. You ever had skunk? It's really tasty.
Right?
Yeah, you get past the smell.
But what about other things?
I don't know. I saw a skunk once with no nose.
What? How does it smell?
Awful!